It is indeed true that trust politicians at your own peril. Coming up. As some of you might know already, that the Afrika Mayibuye national executives have dismissed its first deputy president, Nolubabalo Mcinga, over her unsanctioned meetings with Jacob Zuma and Mary Phadi. Yep. This comes, of course, after 3 weeks, or should I say, this comes 3 weeks after a party was just launched, and of course, a couple of weeks after the very same Miss Mcinga, or should I say, Nolubabalo Mcinga, posted on social media complaining about the ill treatment from Floyd Shibabu. Listen to her here, breaking it all down for us.
The first thing I commented on was your outfit and the logo, which is the MK Party's regalia. Why did you choose to wear that to this interview about Afrika Mayibuye?
Since I have been recalled, I decided to just wear my MK Party regalia because I was never really rejected by the MK Party. So I'm a proud member of uMkhonto weSizwe Party.
Where do you stand with Afrika Mayibuye tonight? In preparing for this interview, we're referring to you as the former first deputy president. One of our viewers messaged and said, well, she's not the former, is it? So where do you stand with the Afrika Mayibuye party tonight in respect of this decision to fire you?
I regard myself still as the deputy president of Afrika Mayibuye movement because the internal processes were not formally addressed. I just received a letter like 3 a.m. in the morning. And the next thing, I was removed from WhatsApp groups, and they just sent me a termination letter without going through the right processes. So I regard myself as still the deputy president of Afrika Mayibuye movement until the internal processes follow what this book says it must follow. Because we have this book that we formulated, which is the Afrika Mayibuye Restoration Manifesto, that says when such things happen in the organization, disciplinary processes will take place, and such didn't take place. So I am still the first deputy president of Afrika Mayibuye movement.
And as the first deputy president, in your mind still, what roles and responsibilities do you expect to continue to fulfill till this process, as you say, is completed?
All right. According to the letter that I received from the Secretary General, I'm not supposed to be taking any responsibilities as the first deputy president. So I'm just waiting for the hearing to take place. So I'm just not doing anything. So for the time being, since I'm a freedom fighter, I'll rather be an activist for uMkhonto weSizwe for the time being until Afrika Mayibuye movement do what it says it will do.
But if in your mind, because, you know, and maybe you can just refresh our viewers, I've been reading the developments around this, and you consider yourself a member of both parties. I think this was a precedent set by Jacob Zuma, and a lot of people are taking their lead from him. But now you're actively campaigning for the MK party. So in your mind, how does this work? You are sticking to your guns. You're still the first DP, but you're campaigning for MKP.
The constitution of Afrika Mayibuye movement does allow dual membership. So
it's simple, it's clear.
Yeah, it allows it. So,
yep. What I found so amazing, though, is that the dual membership is included in Mayibuye Party or Mayibuye Movement's manifesto. The very same stick that Floyd used against Zuma, and the very same stick, of course, that Jacob Zuma used against the ANC. So Nolubabalo now is whipping Floyd with the very same stick of dual membership. My question is, why did Floyd agree to dual membership being included in Mayibuye manifesto? Though I don't understand, because obviously if you open that door, people are going to use it. People like Nolubabalo are going to use that definitely. And of course, and she has done it, and she has used that very same door that Floyd opened. And the question is, why Floyd is now complaining when Nolubabalo is using the very same thing that is written in his own manifesto? I don't get it.
So there are some serious accusations and allegations, and I want to know what you thought when you read that. I mean, the list was long of things, part of which include these meetings that they say you held with Jacob Zuma and others without a mandate from the Mayibuye leadership. How did that happen? Tell us a bit about those meetings, the purpose, what happened there?
No, the president of Afrika Mayibuye is very controlling. You can't tell me that I cannot meet President Jacob Zuma. I know him personally. I'm a member of uMkhonto weSizwe party. So what right do they have to tell me that I'm not allowed to meet President Jacob Zuma? And he's a family friend. My godmother is close friends with the Zumas. So it was a personal meeting. I had to go and say sorry to the president of uMkhonto weSizwe party, because whatever that the MK said about Floyd Shivambu, they were true. So I had to go and submit myself to the president to say, you know what, Baba, I'm very sorry to have left the way that I did. I was just led by emotions, because remember when Floyd Shivambu was demoted from being a Secretary General to going back to Parliament, there were a lot of things that were said. And since I know him from the Economic Freedom Fighters as my Deputy President, you know, I felt very sorry for him, and I was led by emotions, and that was my mistake, you know. And
how does someone trust a leader who, A, can be led by the emotions in the way that you describe in a senior leadership position, with major, I mean, these have major impacts, the way that people see you, you know, as a leader. Do you believe that in any way undermines that leadership?
Yes, it does definitely undermine the leadership. It's just that from the onstart, I liked the ideologies of Floyd Shivambu, you know. He's very outspoken, he's young, he's vibrant. Even when he recruited me from the uMkhonto weSizwe party to form Afrika Mayibuye movement, I was like, okay, you know what? He says that the Afrika Mayibuye movement will be a progressive force. So I won't be moving far from the political agenda of the revolution. Do you understand? And I did send a WhatsApp to the president, Jacob Zuma, before I started with Mayibuye. And also I sent the deputy president, Dr. John Hlophe, an email to say, you know what, I've been approached by Comrade Floyd Shivambu to start a new formation, but I'm not doing this because there's anything wrong with the uMkhonto weSizwe party. It's just that, you know, I need to support him, and I also need to grow politically.
What was the response to that?
No, there was no response at all.
Crickets, blue ticks?
No, not really. I don't think parliament members read their parliament email addresses. They use Gmail or Yahoo. So I don't know if you received it, but tonight...
Yeah, but you say you're close friends with the former president.
No, I'm talking about Dr. John Hlophe.
Okay.
Yes, I sent him an email, but...
Right. So you didn't tell former President Jacob Zuma that?
No, I sent him a WhatsApp.
And he responded?
No, he didn't.
But crickets again then, right?
Not really, because you can never say when there's no blue tick. I mean, he's an old man. Maybe he doesn't read his WhatsApp.
But he found your WhatsApp when you wanted to meet with him for tea, or the meeting that you had?
No, I called the PA.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then he met me and he forgave me, and
so
hence I'm wearing...
Yeah. He met you and forgave you. Sorry, pick that up?
Yeah, he met me and he forgave me from leaving MK party to form Afrika Mayibuye movement.
What I find so amazing, though, is this. After all this commotion of her being fired by Floyd, she went back to Jacob Zuma to ask for forgiveness for leaving MK for Mayibuye. And she took photos with members of the MK welcoming her back. Hi, Nolubabalo. Hi, sister. Nah, man. Yeah, no. I'm not too sure how I would have felt if I were Floyd. But believe me, if I were Floyd, I would feel very, very, very betrayed. It's just that now Floyd himself opened a doorway of this woman to behave like this by not approaching her and talk to her like an adult, like a leader, and of course by including this dual membership in the MK's manifesto, in the Mayibuye's manifesto. I truly believe that Floyd shot himself on the foot by so doing. Now they gave him the taste of his own medicine.
So where are you now in all of this? As you say, you're going to fight tooth and nail. Mm-hmm. You want your disciplinary process, but do you want to stay in Afrika Mayibuye party?
I formed it. If you remember, on the 19th of June, we made a press briefing and we called everyone, and I gave it my all. I was fully committed.
But you feel, I mean, you have quite strong feelings around Floyd Shivambu, and you have some views around his leadership as well, whether his leadership style reflects collectivism within the movement as you describe it. But you talk about strong-handed, one-man, leadership style. You've talked about being power drunk with ego, ego blinding one's wisdom. So state for us unequivocally tonight, because we know that, politics moves quite quickly, Nolubabalo. So tonight you could be feeling different to 3 a.m. when you received that message and that instruction this morning. Where are you tonight with regard to Afrika Mayibuye Party and with regard to Floyd Shivambu specifically?
With Afrika Mayibuye, I'm still a member.
You want to stay in?
Why not?
Okay.
Why would you form something and you want to leave it? I formed it and I recruited, I mobilized, I brought in people into Afrika Mayibuye. And I told them that this is what we're going to do, this is what we're going to do. And I can't just leave my constituency like that.
Okay. And Floyd?
I'm very disappointed in his leadership. I really had high regard. His leadership skills are around gossip, and I think he's a coward. He can't face women. I mean, he could have called me and sat down with me to have a one-on-one and spoke to me like when he asked me to come and start a party. But when I wanted one-on-ones with him, he said, no, he can't meet me one-on-ones. When I saw that there's some funny things going on in the organization.
Like what?
They'll have meetings without me. They deployed Dr. Nozi, the women movement's president, without me. But I was invited to come to a meeting where she was introduced. And it came as a shock to me that how can they deploy someone without me knowing as the second in charge in the whole organization.
We'll try to reach out to Floyd. We did actually try to reach out to them, but we'll reach out to Floyd to respond to what you've just said about him being a coward and somebody who can't face women. Let's go back to some of the issues that the party is, or that the movement is raising with you. Via News 24, Afrika Mayibuye alleges that discussions involved these, and you saw the amount, something like 500 billion. You laugh.
Yeah,
you know what I'm talking about.
Yes.
What do you say to this? This is for our viewers who don't know what we're talking about. $500 billion US, no doubt, in direct investments to establish black dollar billionaires with Jacob Zuma, and that you lacked authority. So talk to us about that. I mean, you've already given some of your response.
As I said, my meeting with President Jacob Zuma was personal. So we did not, those are pure fabrications. They just want to dent my name, in a way that they will discriminate me as a woman. This is gender-based violence. You don't just write things that you don't have proof of. I want proof. In the letter that I responded to, all the allegations, I asked for proof. The only two things in that, in those allegations was the meetings that I had, and I explained myself. And even those two meetings, I'm the one who reported to the organization out of transparency, because Mayibuye is surrounded by gossip. Everything is about gossip. So I decided to save myself, to say, you know what, let me just explain myself so that should anyone who have met me when I had the meeting, because there were a lot of people in the hotel, maybe they will call Floyd, because Floyd does have people that he talks to in all these organizations, out of gossip still, So I can't be led through gossip, and I can't be charged over gossip. I need proof.
But it's interesting to me, Nolubabalo, two things. One is, it doesn't seem as if Floyd will make way for you. So you're stuck in a paradigm where both of you are going to be there if you want to stay.
Afrika Mayibuye is said to be the people's movement. Why is it around about Floyd? It's supposed to be the people's movement.
Well, you said you joined because of him. You've just said it.
I understand, but what he sold to me was this is going to be a people's movement, not a Floyd's political party. So I joined knowing that I'm going to be in a movement because I'm an activist.
But why would you want to be around people that you have just described as openly misogynistic? To quote you, I mean, these are not my words.
Yes.
I'm just putting back what you said.
I'm one of the founders. I'm a founding member of Afrika Mayibuye movement.
Yeah.
I can't just be removed like that. I can serve in other political party like MK party, because even me joining MK party was because I knew that MK party is the only hope for the country.
So, I mean, again, from the outside in, and there have been criticisms of people belonging to two parties and campaigning for two parties, which is, I think, basically, something one would say is novel and pioneered, mostly by former President Jacob Zuma. You sound a lot more enamored with the MKP. I mean, you're in for a battle there by Afrika Mayibuye. Will you just let it go? I know that you're a founding member, so you hold very strongly to wanting to be a part of that. But given what you've said and the passion with which you speak about the MKP, would you consider just...
No,
throwing
I'll
your lot
never
in with
leave
them?
Mayibuye. Processes must follow. I mean, we just started the party, and processes are not in place.
What do you say to people who are watching us talking right now, watching the developments over the last 3 months since the inception of Mayibuye and thinking, do I really want to be a part of these guys? What would you say to them?
You know, Mayibuye needs to go under MK party.
Oh.
Yes. I mean, unity in action, that is one of the
But
principles.
he just
of
left MK.
He must-
That's why you have this party, the Afrika Mayibuye.
Floyd Shivamo needs to grow, or he needs to be born again, or he needs to go and twasa, so that he can be able to humble himself to elders. I mean, you look at the leadership skills of Jacob Zuma, right? He has the same leadership skills as the Sisulus, the OR Tambos. It's just that Floyd wants to do his own thing, and he's failing already by firing a female first deputy president in his political party over gossip. What kind of leadership is that? He just needs to go under the MK party and get mentored by Jacob Zuma, and that's what.
But he's been there, and he
needs to go back. He was not fired there. They just demoted him to go to parliament and for him to come down because he's too arrogant. He needs to come down a bit so that he can be able to lead people.
So, I mean, it's quite a serious thing when you invoke the concept of twasa, and my understanding, which is limited, so please correct me, is to basically go back to sort of ancestral practice and be cleansed in a way. Just clarify for me what that process is when you say, what do you have in mind?
No, man, he needs to learn people's skills. When you go and twasa, I mean, I twasad as well, and I became a sangoma, and I left, you know. You get humbled, you get to learn who a person is, and you get to understand how to treat other people. Floyd can't treat people. You can't tell me as a deputy president that you cannot have a one-on-one with me.
So he should become a sangoma, Floyd?
No, not a sangoma, but I'm saying he must just go, if he's a Christian, he must get born again to the core, so that he can be able, whatever spirit that is working in him, to come down so that he can be able to lead people.
But Nolubabalo, you're now suggesting that he is possessed, which is quite a serious thing
No,
to say.
I'm not saying he's possessed. What I'm saying is whatever that is happening in him, not to be able to meet people halfway. Because why can't he have a one-on-one with me? To sit down with me and say, listen, I can see that there's problems here, and how do we sort it out? Not to just listen to gossip and just fire me like that. I mean, I committed and I spent so much into Mayibuye, informing Mayibuye for them to just, reject me like that. It's very painful. I don't want to lie. I'm hurt.
I believe that Floyd should have approached Nolubabalo if he was not happy about what Nolubabalo is doing. I believe that Floyd should have approached her. I mean, she's a deputy of the party, for God's sake. Come on. She's a deputy president of the party. So I believe that Floyd really should have just called her and just sit down with her, lay it all down to her that, look, ma'am, I know that in our manifesto we have this dual membership thing, and just lay it all down as matured leaders of the party or executive leaders of the party. But this thing of just cutting her off or taking her out of the WhatsApp groups and just doing things without telling her create animosities. As you see, this woman now is lashing out at Floyd like crazy, and she's dropping some bombs. Not that I agree with her, but she's lashing out big time, because now she's saying things that I'm questioning myself. Were you ever a member of Mayibuye CC, or maybe just advancing your political career with Mayibuye, but not there to serve the people of this country? Because that's another thing. That what must come first on these leaders is the people of this country. But when I hear her talking like this now, I wonder if she cares about us as South Africans at all. What do you think? Let me hear your comment below. And of course, if you are coming for the first time, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.